days ago, the United States bombed Venezuela, kidnapped their president, stole their oil. Now they're gonna end up just like Iraq, and Venezuelans outside are celebrating while Venezuelans outside are protesting. You were so close, but no, I have 5 problems with that statement. Hi, my name is Isabel. I'm actually from Venezuela, the country that you all suddenly care about. The following video is mostly for Americans because honestly, thank you. Thank you for caring, thank you, because I know most of you have good intentions, but I think you're only repeating sources that are wrong. And when Venezuelans themselves try to tell you that you're wrong, you make fun of them, you call them stupid, and you tell them that they shouldn't be talking because they're not in Venezuela. I'll try to calm down and we'll go straight to the point, okay? Problem number 1, and the one I've been seeing the most: stop calling Maduro the president. He was a dictator. He was in power by force. He has so much blood in his hands, and whether you deny it or not, which I don't understand why you're denying it, but he was a drug dealer. On July 28, 2024, 70% of Venezuelans inside of Venezuela voted him out. We do not want him. In fact, that number would have been even bigger if those outside could have voted, but he didn't let us. He remained in power by force. He remained in power by putting people who protested in prison. So stop using air quotes when you say that, oh, according to Trump, he's not the president. He wasn't. Stop calling him the president. It's a war crime to kidnap a president. Well, Venezuela is not at war with the US because Maduro was not the president. And why are we saying kidnapped? He wasn't kidnapped. He was arrested. He's in prison, and rightfully so. Who else was gonna put him in prison? Our military, who's extremely corrupted and on his side? Were they gonna put him in prison? No. So who was gonna do it? But when Venezuelans are celebrating because at the very least, the person who caused them so much stress, sadness, anger is finally having some consequences, and we celebrate, stop calling us dumb. We are not dumb. We continue. Problem number 2, we bombed Venezuela. No, they targeted places that were important to Maduro because they were targeting Maduro, not civilians. Not a single civilian was hurt, not one. The only people who were hurt are people from the military who are protecting Maduro. In fact, a couple days ago, they were saying that 300 people died. Lies. Where are those 300 people? It's a lie. They were lying to you and you fell for it. You chose to believe a dictatorship over Venezuelans. They didn't target hospitals or schools or houses or residential neighbors. No, they very specifically targeted places that were important to the government. These are the places they targeted. Okay, next. Venezuelans inside are not celebrating. I know that this is hard to understand from someone who lives in the US, but you are not oppressed. You can talk. You can go on the internet and share whatever meme you want. We can't do that. If you just like a meme, they could at any point take your phone, look at it, and then decide that you go to jail. I can't go back to my country for many reasons. One of them being, if I go back, I will go to prison. Do you not understand this? I will go to prison. They're not allowed to talk. They're not. I talked to my family this weekend. They have to pretend nothing happened because at any point they could go to jail just for celebrating this. So those 70% of people who voted Maduro out, they are pretending that they haven't heard the news. But some people are protesting. Yeah, the 30%. The 30% who voted for Maduro, they have benefits. They're getting paid to go to these protests. They're sad because they're socialist. Okay, next. A lot of you have been filling my comments with, what about Iraq? I could find one similarity between Iraq and Venezuela, which is that in both cases, people celebrated the day that the dictator got taken by the US. That is it. The similarities end there. I'm surprised that you guys keep bringing up history, and yet, did none of you understand what happened in Iraq? The whole point of the US saying that they're going to stay in Venezuela a bit longer, and the whole point of taking Maduro but not the vice president yet, but not Diosdado Cabello yet, is because if they take everyone all at once and leave, then what happened in Iraq is going to happen to us. That's what they're not doing it again. From what I'm seeing so far, They're learning from their mistakes. And again, I am not dumb. I went to school. I loved history class. I had very good grades, and I do know that history tends to repeat itself. However, what do you gain from telling people who have been oppressed for years, who haven't seen their family years, who went through starvation, who lost loved ones? What do you gain from going into their comment section and going, well, it's gonna be worse now? They are for once getting good news for the first time ever. What do you gain saying shit like that? Going into other people's comments and saying, well, are you dumb? Are you not understanding what's happening? No, we are. In all seriousness, though, if you really want to compare Venezuela to another country, why don't we compare it to Panama in 1989? Because I've been sitting here reading about Panama for 4 hours now, and I've gotten even more excited. Worried, yes. Stressed, yes. Scared, yes. But also hopeful and excited, because there's hope. For the first time in 26 years, there's hope. There's a lot of bad examples of US intervention, but then there's Panama. Panama and Venezuela actually have a lot of things in common, not only because they're in the same region, they speak the same language, they have the same religion, they have the same values, they also had 2 dictatorships. Panama went through 21 years of death, violence, censorship, election fraud, and so much worse. And after those 21 years, you know how it ended? With a US intervention. On January 3rd, 1990, the US took Noriega. When I point this out, people fly to tell me that I'm contradicting myself, because sadly, afterwards civilians did lose their homes and some of them their lives. It's really sad. My heart goes out to you. You have my respects. But how is Panama right now? They are free. Right now, they're one of the healthiest and safest places in the region. Their economy is doing very well. It's okay if you don't believe me, you can look it up, or you can go watch these 2 videos made by people from Panama. Yeah, maybe it's silly that I believe that this could be Venezuela, but I want to believe this could be Venezuela. Did they become a colony? No, that's not what happened. But both countries did benefit from this. My very last point. They're only doing it for the oil. Really? No, you don't say. You guys simply do not know the history of Venezuela, and that's okay. Why don't you listen to Venezuelans when they try to explain it to you? I don't get it. This video right here explains it so well, but I'm gonna summarize it. The oil in Venezuela is not like the oil in the Middle East. It's thick, it's very difficult to process, and we needed a technology that we simply did not have. So do you know who invested in the machinery and the technology to get that oil out and processed? Ding, ding, ding. The USA. The USA is the reason why, for years, Venezuela was one of the richest countries in the world, overnight. Venezuela was getting rich while the US profited from refining operations. It was a complete win-win. We exported to the US for years. Know why that all fell apart? It was because of Chavez. I won't go into details because this is where it becomes extremely complicated and this video is long enough. Chavez messed up everything. Everything imploded. Our economy tanked. We lost everything. We became poor. And Maduro in the last 12 years has only made it worse and worse and worse. And before any of you comment, but what about the sanctions? Things have been going so bad way before the sanctions. Yes, we do know that Trump wants the oil. We do know that. And we want him to invest. Because right now that oil is just sitting there. The only people profiting from this is Maduro, China, Russia. That's it. We would rather they take the oil, take Maduro, and reinvest to rebuild what Maduro and Chavez destroyed. We are the country with the most oil in the world, and we are poor. Does that make sense to you? It doesn't it? Because this is so complicated and you don't get it. I'll leave you with this message. Stop calling Venezuelans dumb. This problem is so complicated. It's okay to not get it. It's okay if you're missing details. It's okay if you're comparing it to a situation that is completely different. Everything about Venezuela's case is very complicated. This is why in all of my economics classes, all throughout CEGEP and university, they bring up Venezuela every single time because it's a mystery to everyone. You are not going to understand this by watching 3 TikTok videos and reading an article. Like, no, this took me my entire life to get. So please, like you do with other countries, listen to Venezuelans. Thank you.